Hey everyone, Ryan here, and welcome to another episode of BGP Game Dev. And oh boy, this episode was a long time coming. And I'm proud to announce that after 5 rejections, the 6th time was the charm, as Popcorn Rocket is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. So regular gamers don't really know this, but among game developers, Nintendo has been notorious for rejecting developers for the Nintendo Switch ever since the console's been out. There's been tons of speculation about Nintendo's application process, a lot of misinformation, and a lot of different experiences from different developers, but I'm happy to say that I'm finally a legitimate Nintendo Switch developer after 6 tries. So the first 2 times I applied back in 2023 were before Popcorn Rocket was released on Steam and I got rejected. The 3rd time was after Popcorn Rocket released on Steam and the PlayStation 5 and I got rejected again. And the 4th time was after I released on Xbox and got rejected again. And my 5th time was after I released on the PlayStation 4 and got rejected again. So my 6th attempt was after the Atari VCS release, and I pretty much told myself if I don't get in after this attempt, I think I'm gonna give up since it's taken quite a toll on my mental health, and a few of my game dev friends and other friends can vouch for my insanity. And for those wondering, sadly at the time of this video, I don't have that Mario costume anymore. And I gotta admit that every rejection from Nintendo felt really brutal, and I was so mad one time that I didn't want to finish the Super Mario RPG remake on the Switch, but I realized that game was made by developers like me and not executives who make these decisions, so I powered on through and I finished it, and I still highly recommend the Super Mario RPG remake on the Switch. As for how I finally got accepted by Nintendo, I have no clue, since I've heard so many different accounts from different developers, ranging from they got in after releasing their game on Steam and other consoles, some had no experience releasing games and got in with no prior games released, and some others had to meet Nintendo indie representatives at conventions like the Game Developers Conference, PAX, and more. And even with Popcorn Rocket out on Steam, Epic, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, the Xbox Series S and X, I was still getting rejected and I had no idea why. However, after my game got released on the Atari VCS, I think that's what made Nintendo budge. So maybe it was the Atari VCS that got me in of all the platforms. Now, I don't really think that's the case, but maybe I have the Atari VCS to thank for all of this. So right now, I'm learning how to use the Nintendo Switch SDK and the dev kits, and hopefully it won't take too long to port Popcorn Rocket to the Switch after my experiences porting to the PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and the Series S and X, and the Atari VCS, which all had their own unique challenges, and I hope to get Popcorn Rocket out on the Switch before the end of the year. And it's kind of funny, like a year ago I was doing the PlayStation 5 port, and now a year later I'm doing the Nintendo Switch port. And for all of you other devs who still have not been able to get your game on Nintendo, don't give up, because I was pretty close to throwing in the towel and letting Bowser and the Koopa Kids win, but I didn't give up and I kept on going like Mario and Luigi with 1 life left at the end of each Mario game. I've spoken to other devs who've gotten rejected by Nintendo 8 times, 10 times, 20 times and more, and I literally approached all of the console applications like I was applying for a job. And for Nintendo, after each of my rejections, I kept refining and adding to my pitch application every time I released on a new platform, and I also added my sales numbers, and I approached it more from a this is how my game and my company can benefit you approach, rather than my game will look so cool on your console approach. And let's face it, whenever you think about video games, Nintendo is always the first name that people think about because of their brand recognition, and the NES was the very first console I grew up with, and it was always my childhood dream to release a game on a Nintendo console. And when I was a kid, my dream was to release a game on the NES with a full box and manual. And sure, I'm decades late to release on the NES, but I may eventually think of doing an NES game and releasing it both physically and digitally, since people are doing it independently. But for now, the Nintendo Switch will do. And once again, to all the other developers out there, don't give up on getting your game on a Nintendo console, because if my dinky little space shooter game was finally able to get on after 6 tries, I'm sure your games will get on too. Although I would suggest trying to apply for the other platforms like PlayStation, Xbox, and the Atari VCS and build up your sales numbers and reputation, and apply for Nintendo again whenever you hit a milestone. I will eventually do a video on how to be a console developer in the future, so stay tuned for that. So with that said, this ends this BGP Game Dev episode. I'm Ryan, and later gamers!
It's me, Mario!
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure to check out these other videos, and also make sure to follow me on social media and check out the official Battle Geek Plus website. Take care.